ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शुश्रूषोषददानस्य वासुदेवकथारुचिः स्यान्महत्सेवया विप्रा पुण्यतीर्थनिषेवनात्। शृण्वता स्वकतः कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तन हृद्यन्तस्तो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सताम्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। तदा रजस्तमो भावा कामलोभादयश्च ये चेत एतैरनाविद्धं स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति। एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते। विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिश्छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining the morning Bhagavatam call. So today we are going to read from first canto 9th chapter verse 25, and this verse is really an interesting verse. We read, it's interesting for some reasons. So we'll read the verse 1:9:25. Suta uvacha Yudhiṣṭhirastada karnya shayanam sharapanjare apricchadvividhan dharman rishinam chanushrunvatam. One more time. Suta uvacha Yudhiṣṭhirastada karnya shayanam sharapanjare apricchadvividhan dharman rishinam chanushrunvatam. Suta uvacha Yudhiṣṭhirastada karnya shayanam sharapanjare Aprichat vividhan dharman rishinam chanushrunvatam. Suta uvacha. Sri Suta Goswami said, Yudhiṣṭhiraha, King Yudhiṣṭhira, that akarnya, hearing, shayanam, lying down, sharapanjare, on the bed of arrows, aprichat, asked, vividhan, multifarious, dharman, duties, rishinam, of the rishis, cha, and anu shrinvatam, hearing after. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Suta Goswami said, Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira, after hearing Bhismadev speak in that appealing tone, asked him, in the presence of all the great rishis, about the essential principles of various religious duties. Purport. Bhismadev, speaking in that appealing tone, convinced Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira that he was very soon passing away. And Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira was inspired by Lord Krishna to ask him of the principles of religion. Lord Sri Krishna inspired Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira to ask Bhismadev in the presence of many great sages, indicating thereby that the Lord's devotee, like Bhismadev, although apparently living as a worldly man, is far superior to many great sages, even Vyasadeva. Another point is that Bhismadev at that time was not only lying on a deathbed of arrows, but was greatly aggrieved because of that state. One should not have asked him any question at that time, but Lord Sri Krishna wanted to prove that his pure devotees are always sound in body and mind by dint of spiritual enlightenment, and thus in any circumstances, a devotee of the Lord is in perfect order to speak of the right way of life. Yudhiṣṭhira also preferred to solve his problematic questions by asking Bhismadev rather than ask anyone else present there who was seemingly more learned than Bhismadev. This is all due to the arrangement of the great wheel carrier, Lord Sri Krishna, who establishes the glories of his devotee. The father likes to see the son become more famous than himself. The Lord declares very emphatically that worship of his devotee is more valuable than the worship of the Lord himself. So that's the verse 1925 today. Again, Suta Goswami said, Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira, after hearing Bhismadev speak in that appealing tone, asked him in the presence of all great rishis about the essential principles of various duties. So I found this verse very instructive and interesting both ways. So let's see some of the highlights that Prabhupada points out in the purport. But before that, we should know here, yesterday we heard from Shivalabha Prabhu the great detail of Bhismadev's meditation that's going on when he is lying on the bed of arrows. So much. Prabhu really gave a lot of detail about how whole background was and what was the scene that was going on in Bhismadev's thoughts or in his consciousness at that particular time where he is on the deathbed and choosing his, we should say choosing his time of death. He is choosing his time of death in one sense. So we see that it's such a grave moment, and Bhismadev, just now he spoke so nicely, all these verses that we read. He was first empathizing with Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, how they had gone through so much difficulty, even though he was the son of Dharma himself, and he went through so much difficulty, and all the Pandavas went through difficulty. Queen Kunti went through multiple challenges throughout her life from the very beginning, and especially after Pandu's death. and Madri just went on sati with him. So Bhismadev empathized with all the Pandavas. Then Bhismadev said, you all did not do any. This is not due to your sinful reactions, because you have always led your life according to Vipra, Dharma, and Achyuta Ashraya. Vipra is according to the teachings of the Brahmanas, Brahmana Vaishnavas in one sense, and then according to the Dharma, religious principle at all times, then according to Achyuta Ashraya, the shelter or guidance given by Achyuta or Krishna. So you have all done this perfectly well. So whatever is happening right now, don't worry about it. It's not your sinful reaction. It is, what is it then? He says about time first. First, he speaks about time, how the irreversible nature of time destroys everything. And time is a forceful representative of Krishna in this material world. And then he moves on saying about how Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and it's all happening according to Krishna's plans in your life because you're fully surrendered to him. So it's like Rishikesha is the control of the senses of the devotees. He takes care of everything, and pure devotees know that they're instruments. It's Krishna's plan to establish the conquest of the virtuous and the righteous rulership. So this whole thing is done. He empathized, he consoled, he really spoke so affectionately with Pandavas. And then he just settled down in his consciousness and meditating for so many beautiful verses we read, meditating on Krishna in his heart, Bhishmadev, because he speaks about how Krishna's forms are transcendental, and it's just by internal potency, and he just worships Krishna basically in that painful condition. He just starts worshipping Krishna with words and glorifying Krishna with so many beautiful verses. And then he fixes his thoughts. I mean, those verses are amazing. He says, let me now redirect my thinking, feeling and willing, everything to the inconceivable personality Godhead. And then he starts saying about his, battlefield scene. He just settles down into it. After all this, and then he says, four-handed Krishna, beautiful face and eyes are as red as the rising suns. He's smiling as I'm quitting my body. He's right here in front of me. He's so kind. So, not only he protected Arjuna in the battlefield, but he is right now protecting me when I'm leaving my body. So there's so many beautiful verses. So at this point of time, normally, if you think, nobody will ask a question about what should be my duty. So, but Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is asking that question. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is asking the question of what are the essential principles of various religious duties. In the later verses, we will see what exactly he's asking. He's asking about charity, dana dharma, what is the principle of charity, raja dharma, what is the principle for a rulership or king, and then he asks about various things, and he even asks about stri dharma, what are the duties of a woman, and so many and then finally he asks about bhakti dharma. So he asks all this, and finally he gives the punchline, bhakti dharma, because Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj himself, he knows that's the culmination of everything else, or that's the foremost of everything else, not just the culmination. So he asks these kind of questions after Bhishmadev fixes his mind on which form of the Lord he wants to meditate. So that's the interesting part of this chapter. I mean, this particular verse, that this crucial moment when he is leaving the body, we are asking questions about dharma. But now Prabhupada is there for us to help. So Prabhupada beautifully brings out how and why Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is asking those questions to Bhismadev. And from Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj's perspective, from Bhismadev's perspective, from Krishna's perspective, everything Prabhupada covers beautifully in the purport. And we should remember here that Bhismadev is almost giving a Bhagavatam class or teaching about how one should lead one's life at various levels. He's going to speak about, not just, a bhakti alone, but he's going to tell everything, because Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj asked this for everybody's benefit. Nobody is excluded from the teaching. So he asks like that. So we have to see in front of so many great rishis, and we heard I think of several verses before who were all present. Shukadev Goswami was present there, speaker of Bhagavatam. Of course, he's going to speak later, but Shukadev Goswami is there, Vyasadeva is there, and I think Narada Muni is there. So many, Parvata Muni was there, and who else? I think Parashuram was there, Bhishmadev's own martial teacher, and incarnation of the Lord. Vasishta was there, trying to find the verse, but yeah, Atri Muni and Daumya and so many, we don't even know who. Asita and all, we know from Bhagavad Gita how important this Asita, Devala, Narada and all, right? So such Bharadwaja Muni, such high-end sages are standing there. So imagine somebody speaking in front of this great assembly, and giving a class in front of a great assembly is such a big, it's not easy. And so see the background of what kind of personalities, the caliber of personalities present in the class there. And then who's the student? Yudhiṣṭhira. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is no less. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is Dharma. He's like really Dharma personified, if you want to take like that. If you read Mahabharata, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is one person who always never got triggered by these circumstances, because his higher intelligence was always in action, despite all the triggering and kind of circumstances. So he is a student here, if we see as a setup. And then in front of who? In front of the abode of all Dharma, Krishna, there is a class going to happen now. So with this setup, we really have to appreciate how this is excellent. The dealings between pure devotees are very inspirational for us. So now here we see Prabhupada covers in the purport. Quickly we'll go through the purport once. Bhismadev, speaking in their appealing tone, convinced Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira that he was soon passing away, and Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira was inspired by Lord Krishna to ask him of the principles of religion. So this is the reason. Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira was inspired by Lord Krishna to ask him of the principle of religion. This is a big statement for us if we were to really sit and understand, because Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is not an insensitive person who will go and ask something like this when a person is dying. So if he is asking something like this, and if, like how we have heard that Arjuna is a pure devotee, but he became the instrument of Krishna and came under the spell of illusion, so that Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Similarly, Parikshit Maharaj set up his whole thing is that he only could have been the proper person to be able to handle what happened in his, what an embarrassment that is such a powerful ruler and the descendant of Bharatas, he put a dead snake around, and then, but because of the curse, we have Bhagavatam in front of us. So pure devotees of Krishna always act for a proper end. So here Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj was inspired by Krishna to ask him of these principles of religion. And Then Prabhupada says that Lord Krishna inspired Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira to ask Bhismadev in the presence of many great sages, indicating thereby that the Lord's devotee like Bhismadev, although apparently living as a worldly man, is far superior to many great sages, even Vyasadeva. So this also is like a very encouraging statement for many of us in this, practicing Krishna consciousness in our day-to-day life, grihastha life, and grihastha ashram. So it is Krishna knows, and he really takes care of each and every person in the world, and we can see each and every devotee. It's a little bit more reciprocation because he is equal but reciprocally equal. Krishna is. So here we see now Bhismadev, throughout his life, he has tried so much to directly worship Krishna. It didn't so much happen because he obliged, or he committed to the Hastinapur. We don't want to go into too much detail. That's not the mood here. Mood here is that in front of so many sages, because this conversation could have happened a little before, when Bhishmadev was not actually passing away, and Yudhishthira Maharaj could have gone and asked. But this happened at this particular moment and this particular situation, and with all these great sages, for a reason, that Krishna is bringing out the glory of Bhishmadev, who, even though he lived as if he is a worldly man throughout, but his consciousness was absorbed in Krishna. So now another point is that Prabhupada says, another point is that Bhishmadev at the time was not only lying on the deathbed of Eros, but was greatly aggrieved because of that state. We have all gone through death multiple times. Of course, we don't remember. At least I don't want to generalize it. I don't remember what pain it was in my last several million lifetimes. But for sure, it is painful, because otherwise I wouldn't have any. When you think of death, we need to prepare for it so much. At least as devotees, we want to prepare for ourselves to face that moment of death, where we have to bring the glory of Krishna in front of our hearts, and we bring glory of Sri Guru in the predominantly in our consciousness. So this is a great preparation that we are doing. If it was so easy, we would see everybody dying anyway. We don't want to go there, but then we have to see this is because that state is not very easy state. But for a devotee, it's like a kitten in the claws of a cat. So here we are seeing one should have not asked any question at that time, but Krishna wanted to prove that his pure devotees are always sound in body and mind by dint of spiritual enlightenment. So this is another great teaching, that Krishna, when he comes in the consciousness and makes himself present, then we remember from Narada Muni's quitting his body and getting Narada Muni's body. If we kind of go back in our memory of reading that, before that, Narada Muni says that when he meditated, according to the instructions of the Bhakti Vedantas, he meditated, and he says that when Krishna came, it was like each of his limbs and senses were individually enlightened. That statement is very beautiful if you want to read about it, 4th chapter, 5th chapter in this first canto. Each of his senses were separately enlivened. So when Krishna comes into consciousness, true enlivenment happens, actually. So here, Prabhupada is making a point here. His pure devotees are always sound in body and mind. Body sound doesn't mean that Bhishmadev will get up and do Ashtanga Yoga at that time. But he is able to tolerate. If Krishna wants, he will do that too. But then he has the capacity to tolerate the pain, and not just tolerate, but transcend the pain, So it's not like people in pure devotees don't have pain, but they transcend it in their consciousness. So it's very different experience. I mean, I probably don't have that experience, but it's such a thing. I mean, we might have glimpses of it when we do like Nirjala Ekadashi. I mean, our Janmashtami, whole day we are running around doing services, not eating anything. It's an out of body experience in one sense, because on the other days we can't do it. When we go to yatras, 10 days, running and running and running, waking up still for morning, and throughout the day hearing. What is sustaining us during those yatras is the power of hearing in the association of devotees. The power of Krishna Katha is like sustaining us. We may not recognize it because sometimes it's hard to recognize subtle things, but this is what is happening. So we are experiencing glimpses. Now we are seeing pure devotees. They are sound in mind. Don't we want to get to that state? So that's really the right way. And he's going to speak about the right way of life. So anyway, so at the end, I mean, I'm skipping a few sentences. And then the father likes to see the son become more famous than himself. This is the heart of Krishna. Krishna is not about his own fame. He's about everyone else, actually, mainly his pure devotees. Any devotee, but according to the level of surrender, we get whatever Krishna wants to provide, whatever is good for our connection to Krishna. Then the Lord declares very emphatically that worship of his devotee. We know this very much, and we know this verse also. There's many verses saying about the glory of worshiping a devotee. One of the famous verses is Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param Tasmad Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Tadarpanam, something like that. So you worship Tadiya. Tadiya means Krishna's paraphernalia. So devotees are Krishna's paraphernalia. So Tadiya worshipping is even more valuable. So how to worship a devotee is mainly, if you see, there are many ways to worship a devotee, but when we see the different levels of devotees, we know that worshipping a devotee is by hearing from them. So spiritual master worship is by hearing from the spiritual master, not just once a year or one time a day or something like that. It's hearing from the devotee. Anyway, so we will pause there. So the beauty of this verse is to summarize that after all these wonderful verses, why is Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj is asking this question? After Bhismadev spoke about Krishna as a supreme person, that's where one wants to stay. But now it's so much mood of service Bhismadev has that he is able to speak about the basic dharma, even after setting his mood in that absolute platform. And then we saw about how to prepare for the end, and how Krishna never leaves a devotee who has tried their best to prepare through the life. And worship of the devotee is much. So there's Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj's heart is revealed here, why he is asking the question. Bhismadev's heart is revealed here, why he's going to speak about it even after fixing himself in the right place at the time of death. And then Krishna's perspective is given, why he wants to do this. Both people in this kind of a setup is for glory. So it's for devotees' glory. So with that, I would like to just share one quick video. I know it's going to be another extra 5 minutes, but this video, we would like to just not just focus on the words alone, but we want to see the mood of this video. It's a 5-minute video. If you want to, please. Where is the Zoom? Okay. Share screen. Where is it? Okay. Lingaraja Prabhu, please tell me if this audio is coming to you.
No, Mataji.
Okay, now you know that I have made this mistake several times. 1 second.
Same as system.
Pardon? Same as system, I have it like that. There is something else that I need to do. Let's see if it works, Prabhu, please.
No, Mataji.
Okay, somebody knows actually. Bhakti Shastri time I have done this mistake many times.
Mathaji, Hare Krishna.
Mata
Yes.
share audio.
When you might have to reshare your screen, and at that time there should be a checkbox to also share audio.
Thank you, Prabhu. I think you helped me last time to hold on 1 second. I'll do that. Share screen. Okay. And
It's in the down, Mata. It's on the share thing.
Yeah, Gadadhar Chandra Prabhu. Where is it? Share audio in here.
And the down, there will be a checkbox, Mataji.
Is it audio settings?
It might be under more also. When you click more,
Yes.
all the way to the right, it should say computer audio, share computer sound or something like that.
Do you see it? Yeah. Thank you. I needed the exact words again. Thank you very much all. Okay, here we go. Hopefully this should work.
Sadly, we get a different nature.
Can you hear?
Yes, Mataji.
And don't look for clarity because it is a very deep video. Let's just see what the mood is here, basically.
And if we engage in the business of sense gratification, we get unachievable.
And then that karma is tad dehopalabdhi hetu.
Yeah. And according to the association of different nature, we get a body. Karanam gunasammasya satasat janmajoni. Therefore, we should always seek good association, devotee association. Then on, life will be successful.
And then last it says the gunas, satvadayo, jnana vikshepa moha hetavaha.
Jnana, if we live with good association, then we cultivate knowledge. That means association. And man is known by his company. So, if we have the chance of association with devotees, then our character, nature become different. By hearing, by discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, this Rajagun Tamagun are subdued. Then Satarupa remains. Nasta prayasa, or what way? Nityam Bhagavatasya. Then Satagun Tamagun cannot do us harm. Therefore, Varnashram Dharma is so essential that people remain in Satarupa. Samagun, Rajagun, Rajastama Bhava increases lust and greediness, and that implicates the living entity to exist in this material world in many, many forms. That is very dangerous. Therefore, they should be brought into Satagun, that is establishment of Varnashram Dharma. How to bring people in Satagun with Brahminical qualification, very neat and clean, rise early in the morning, this Mangalarati in this way, to stay in Satagun.
Okay, so with that, we will pause Bhismadev's prayers and discussion here. We have a great fortune of seeing our founder Acharya in the same mood, and this is not ordinary, and this fortune is not available in the three worlds. It's just only Prabhupada has done this. Of course, when we hear about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was also similar vigor. But when we connect to our founder Acharya and see how he has imbibed the mood and given that to us. So with that, we'll pause. If there is any discussion points, please feel free to bring it up, but we may not discuss too long. I felt it was important for us to see that video, so I took 6 minutes, 5 minutes for that. Tried to concise, but it's very difficult sometimes to concise some of these verses. So please forgive me for going over time. If we want, we can discuss 1 or 2 points in brief, if anyone has.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Salvation of Prabhupada. Can you hear me, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
I was really appreciating your lecture where you said all these great personalities assembled when Bhismadev is about to speak the Dharma to Yudhiṣṭhira Mahārāja. And I think it was a very nice conclusion in showing how Srila Prabhupada emphasizes our dedication to Krishna and association of devotees. I was just thinking, Mataji, as you were speaking about the various devotees that were assembled, great personalities, and I'm sure they're all of different schools of thought, different backgrounds, different opinions. At the same time, I feel that they did not just come there to that assembly as a matter of etiquette. It is something beyond that, right? I was just wondering, what is that, and we see that again and again, right? We see that when Sukadeva Goswami speaks, when Shaunak Rishi, is assembled with Sutta Goswami, we see this again and again, that great people are assembling, even though they may have difference of opinion or difference of schools of thoughts and whatnot. So what, and I feel that it's not just etiquette, something beyond etiquette, right? What would be that thing?
One sentence that Prabhupada said comes to my thoughts. Purity is the force. Purity is the force. And what is the purity? The soul being completely in its original state of deep connection with the Lord, intimate connection with the Lord. Because if we are in our natural state, if somebody is putting up an artificial smile in front of us, we will know, right? I mean, the little people as little person as I am, I can recognize if somebody is artificial, or if I am trying to be artificial, someone else can recognize. So everything other than one's intimate connection with Krishna fully awakened is artificial. So the purity is one that attracts. What attracts us to Prabhupada? What attracts us to our spiritual masters? What is it? It's their purity of connection with Guru and Krishna. And mainly, one who has awakened that can attract so much. Prabhupada has done wonders just with that. I mean, it doesn't mean that they didn't have struggle. He did, just like Bhismadev. Why does he have to go through this lying on 1,000,000 arrows? And there's hardly an inch gap between one arrow and the other. Why does he have to, but purity is the force. That's what is coming to my thoughts, Prabhu. That attracts us also. Why are we still practicing this process despite we have setbacks and we fall back many times and we feel incomplete sometimes even after practicing? And why? Because of the purity that is being passed on very carefully. And Shukadeva Goswami had it. So Narada Muni sat in front of him and learnt Bhagavatam. Learnt in the sense like heard Bhagavatam. Vyasadeva sat in front of Shukadeva Goswami and heard it. It's like you're saying, it is something more than just etiquette or morality or kindness or whatever it is, mode of goodness things. It is something beyond. And what is it beyond is the purity of connection with Krishna. So we can try to find verses. There is 5th chapter Bhagavad Gita. I don't remember the exact verse. I will find it. In purport, Prabhupada gives this beautiful little paragraph of how a pure soul is dear to everyone, how a pure devotee is dear to everybody. I mean, the science behind it, So I'll try to find that verse if possible and share it. Basically, he says that the consciousness of the pure devotee is so clean that everybody feels dear to him and he feels dear to everybody. It's just like Sanatana Goswami he knew every nook and corner of Vrindavan Vasis at that time when he was present in Vrindavan. How? He is a renunciant, he is in Babaji, but he knows who is getting married, who gives birth to children. He knows everything. And people want to connect with him like that. Why? How? So it's powerful. Purity of connection with Krishna is powerful. To whatever little extent we have, sometimes people feel inspired even by us. So there is some level of connection that our spiritual masters and Srila Prabhupada has given for us. So that is acting, So it's amazing. Thank you for bringing up that point. It's really amazing. It's quite amazing.
Mataji, I was hoping you could, what I was intending to ask is, yes, there is purity.
Yeah.
And that's kind of putting responsibility on the other person. What I was hoping to hear about was, the same person, when I look at that person, I may not be able to recognize the purity. So what is wrong in my consciousness that I'm unable to appreciate the other person?
Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying. I didn't see it from that perspective. The same thing is lacking. Sorry. Sorry about it, but so to recognize this, saint is recognized by hearing. So to some level of sukriti we need to build to be able to recognize a saintly personality. And if we are not recognizing at one point, if it is about ourselves, if we are not able to recognize, then we can try to build it, because there is no it's not like we'll never get it. So what is lacking is, again, filters are there. There are so many filters. When I see another person, I have this filter after filter after filter. Like you take a sieve and then you put something, or when you filter tea or something like that, right? Herbal tea, of course. Filter a tea, something, when everything remains there, that filter holds so much. It's not, maybe it's not the right example, but just see that when we have a colored glass in front of us, we're going to see the other person colored. We are not going to see that person clear. So there is filters that we carry, and it's from many zillion, billion, mega, whatever, million births. So, but it's not impossible. That's the beauty. It's not impossible. We just have to try our best to see through the conceptions of Shastra. And if you're not able to, we are able to go in front of Krishna and tell, I'm not able to. I think, I don't know if I'm addressing your thought process or contemplation that's happening, Prabhu, but what is lacking is what is with the other person. The frequency is lacking, the purity is lacking. So we have filters. But we don't have to be worried greatly about it, as long as we are not completely going off track. Because it's just natural to have filters after all this million lifetimes. So accepting and progressing, I guess. Sorry if I didn't again get to your punchline.
No, Mataji, I think you exactly hit the point. I felt I was hoping, no, not hoping. That gave me some form of realization is when you mentioned that we have to remove those filters. I think it hit me that it's just not the purity of the other person, but my effort is also needed to. When you put that in perspective of how many filters we have from different lifetimes, how we need to remove those filters.
Yeah, but the removal of filters is by the process of being with the pure. That's the easiest process, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said, I don't have reference once again, but I've heard in lectures that for removing one anartha from our consciousness, minimum takes 5 years. If it's a lighter one, so how many lifetimes we have to keep removing? But just stick with the pure, and then the power of purity is such that we can get purified. So pure, the Vaisheshika Prabhu says, turn the sound vibration and keep it on. He says something like that. So yeah, but true, very true, that we do have to take responsibility, but we don't have to be all by ourselves. Krishna is there.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. 7:48. I have a feeling that we are going overboard.
I have a quick one. Hare Krishna Mataji. This is Bhakti Priya. Please accept humble obeisance.
Please accept mine too.
Many times that video really touched me today. Many times we take it for granted what we have in ISKCON, what ISKCON is giving to us, what acharyas have given to us, sacrificing their sleep, sacrificing their personal things, and a lot of sacrifice went into their effort and to give starting from Vyasadev all the way to Srila Prabhupada, and the comparison between the comparison to Bhismadev and Prabhupada was really it struck me, because every year I look forward for the Bhishma Panchaka, looking for purification and all, but the connection to the comparison between Bhismadev and Prabhupada was really, really striking today. We cannot get up in the morning. We cannot, chant our 16 rounds at one stretch. We cannot, get up and do service. It's just, there's so much contamination. There is so much impurities that we just are entangled into. It's just, I feel like, I don't know what to say, but I think what we have is a fortune that we cannot see. The fortune is right there, but we cannot open the book and read it.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for sharing that video, Mataji. It was very touching.
Thank you for sharing your inspiration, Mataji. Yeah, we identify we are not able to Durdaiva Midrisham Iha Jananu Ragaha, but Trinadapi Sunichena Taroradesa Vishwana. So we are not there, but it's every possibility is there for us to be there. So we'll inspire each other. Thank you so much for sharing, Mataji. Honestly, we can never stop these kind of discussions, but I think I have gone 20 minutes over today. Please forgive me for taking more time, and thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhye vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.